15 million CFA franc. Now Audrey Zaza completes that story.
Mempeme Yusuf, Abdel Macho, Abdou Fataou, and Kuo Mulium, all aged 20 years old, are the names of the 4 individuals arrested yesterday by the Gendarmerie Legion in Bonenja for allegedly unearthing a complete human skeleton in Kwoptamo in the Noun division of the West region of the country.
Officers of the Judicial Research Unit and the Anti-Robbery Brigade received information on the human bones trafficking.
L'exploitation de cette nouvelle.
The exploitation of the information led to the arrest of 4 of the 7 suspects.
They
unearthed the bones and were in search of a client on Facebook.
À travers les réseaux sociaux, notamment Facebook.
Major Warrant Officer Njiku, the head of the Brigade Against Organized Crime, has revealed that the remains unearthed is that of the named Mizap, who passed away 3 years ago and was buried in Kwoptamo. The suspected traffickers had transported the remains to Douala and in an attempt to sell the skeleton for a sum of 15 million francs CFA got apprehended. This is not the first time that individuals are apprehended from the Noun division for trafficking human bones. The latest news dates back to May 2020 when 3 human skeleton traffickers were arrested and sentenced to 5 years in prison by the Fumbot Court of First Instance. Colonel Amugu, head of the Judicial Research in Fight Against Organized Crime of the National Gendarmerie, is urging the population to collaborate with forces of law and order in fight against high crime wave in Cameroon.
Over in the southwest region of Cameroon, a young man is under police custody after he confessed of having killed and hidden his girlfriend in her apartment in Boya. Details in the following report.
While success motivates others, for some it is the reverse, as the story of Yo Francina, a 25-year-old lady recently killed and her body abandoned in her apartment in Boya, southwest region of Cameroon, by her boyfriend is making waves on social media. Reports say Menang Sakse Kefu is under custody after killing his girlfriend Yo Francina, a native from Oku, northwest region of Cameroon, a lady he has dated for about 6 months. According to sources, Francina Yo, who works for an NGO in Boya, was recently promoted at her job site and decided to throw a party last October 4 at her residence, and amongst her guests was her boyfriend, who is today her killer. Sources further reveal that 2 days later, the alleged murderer used Francina's phone to call her parents, announcing she had collapsed and blood oozing from her nose. The deceased father, along with family, visited her home and met her lifeless body in an already decomposing state, and medical reports further reveal she had died a couple of days earlier. Reports say the accused later confessed at the police station that he beat his girlfriend to death after a heated conversation. It should be recalled that this is happening few days after a girl stabbed her boyfriend to death in Kribi, south region of Cameroon, for giving her 80,000 instead of the 100,000 she demanded.
Now, the National Decentralization Board met yesterday in Yaoundé to examine the financial, judicial and infrastructural conditions to be fulfilled for smooth implementation. Yesterday's meeting was held via video conferencing and chaired by Prime Minister Chief Dr. Joseph Dion-Gouti. Nora Kakebi tells us more on the following report.
First ordinary session of the National Decentralization Board for the year 2020 met yesterday, October 8, via video conferencing at the Star Building, presided by the Prime Minister and Head of Government, Chief Dr. Joseph Dion-Gouti. The Prime Minister opened the session calling on major stakeholders of the decentralization process to accelerate the implementation of the program and setting up of the different regions of the country. In addition, the session equally examined the judicial and financial modalities for the acceleration of decentralization and the setting up of the regions. Chief Dr. Dion-Gouti has challenged major stakeholders in the decentralization process to make conscious efforts in order to give substance to the ideals of the head of state and enhance the decentralization process in the country. On his part, Minister of Decentralization and Local Development, George Elanga Obam, explained the strides taken to accelerate these long-term strategies to enhance them. In his words, the minister says,
concerning the financial aspect, We have to prepare the budgets that will allow the councils to have their meeting with the Ministry of Finance, and we think that the money is already available.
According to the Prime Minister John Gute, decentralization is the option of governance where local authorities are at the center of their development. It is important to note that this is happening at a time when Cameroon is gearing towards the first ever regional elections in the country. Therefore, the election marks the last phase in setting up institutions provided for in the 1996 Constitution.
As schools resumed across the national territory for the 2020-2021 academic year on October 5, 2020, pupils and students in Konye subdivision, southwest region of the country, are yet to start as elites and council officials have abandoned their mission of championing school resumption in that part of the country. Tamfu Sudan visited some schools in that locality and files in the following report.
The back-to-school campaign for schools to resume seems to have yielded no fruits in Konye subdivision, despite calls by the divisional officer of Konye subdivision, Atta Moses Ndep, for schools to resume.
Meetings for make school start with the population of Konye, the principals, all the education family, makes the school start this academic year.
It is still a failed dream, as the mayor of Konye Council and other elites have all abandoned the community, leaving the population at the mercy of separatist ideologies, which in effect have hampered the academic activities in the area.
As I make the elites, they cooperate with the administration to see make school go back, because you say don't see we don't go around to be sick picking them, because they be eager for go school. They not be informed.
On this day, the Inspector of Basic Education for Konye, appointed during the crisis, is seeing his chartered office for the first time.
Try to relocate me, look me some even 1-2 rooms where I feed the children for the like office and do work.
Ojong Bison calls on parents to distance themselves from fear and send children to school.
Make the parents they send their picking them for school.
Here, the inspector assists the divisional officer to clear the pathway into GS Konye, which has been long abandoned. GBHS Konye has also become a hunting ground. Despite preparatory meeting held in Kumba for elites of Konye and the council to champion the cleaning of pilot schools in the municipality, nothing has been done, as municipal authorities are now living comfortably in Kumba.
And made a clean school, like the Konye council will be responsible, and the village of Konye. But unfortunately, you say don't see for yourself, nothing not do take place, no school not take place. No cleaning.
The divisional officer for Konye, Atta Moses Ndep Basic Education, went into the quarters to sensitize the communities about the need for children to go back to school. As it stands, the dream of schools to resume effectively in Konye are still far from becoming reality, as the school structures are still left abandoned and dilapidated.
We remain in Kumba, where the first staff meeting of Government Bilingual High School Kosala Kumba 2 subdivision has been held at the conference hall of the Kumba 2 Council. The meeting focused on challenges faced by the entire school in the previous academic year amid socio-political confrontations in the northwest and southwest region. Tamfu Sidwan attended the meeting and now reports.
The first staff meeting for the 2020-2021 academic year at Government Bilingual High School, Kosala Kumba 2, has spelled out challenges faced by the entire school during the previous academic year, ever since crisis erupted in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon.
We have passed through difficult moments. Some, it has affected them directly, others, it has affected them indirectly.
Holding at a venue different from the school campus speaks volumes of the situation at the site of the institution, which for the past years was infested by features of the armed conflict, as it is believed that several confrontations between armed separatists and government forces took place around the school campus, leading to loss of life.
We have passed through very tough moments. You know, in our last academic year, 2 academic years ago, that is in 2018, the teacher of Professor Kosala was killed in school.
The principal of the institution, Sir Nathaniel Okenye, says the Kosala population should join voices and give the population of Kosala and neighboring communities the opportunity to enjoy education.
But I want to assume that this academic year 2020-2021 should be better for all of us. We should give an opportunity for children in Kosala to also enjoy the goodness of education as others.
As it stands, classes will resume in a different venue since the elements of the crisis are still visible in the permanent site of the college.
And then we have looked for a venue that is in the center of the town, inside GBPS Kosala. This is being possible because of the help we are having now from the mayor of Kumbatu, all of them, and the inspectors of basic education. We are putting in effort to make sure that schools effectively start now.
Closing the meeting, the principal encouraged the teachers and prayed that both sides of the crisis understand the need to empower future leaders, and that is only obtained through education.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Prime News on My Media Prime Television. Now, the 2020 awareness campaign for the promotion of global food safety has been launched, which aims at calling on governments, civil society organizations, as well as the United Nations to be ahead of us regarding this global crisis emergency. Health reporter Bokenge Wadi completes the story.
Foodborne disease is one of the leading causes of death by food poisoning triggered by contaminated food from bacteria, viruses, parasites, and toxins due to poor food safety.
Nutritious, safe food is one of the joys of life. But every year, unsafe food is responsible for thousands of deaths. All of these deaths are preventable. From the time food is grown and transported to when people are shopping and preparing meals, each of this is a chance to prioritize food safety.
Around the world, 1 in every 10 persons suffers from foodborne disease yearly, which is approximately 600 people, with a 420,000 of these sufferers dying due to poor food safety, as stated by the World Health Organization. A number that is estimated to be more, especially as the coronavirus pandemic keeps tolling high.
We recognize the people on the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic who ensure that we can continue to access safe food. This year, we're particularly emphasizing access to safe and healthy food in markets. But food safety should not be an issue that's prioritized only once a year. Food safety is everyone's business every day. In times of crisis, it's more important than ever. Please join me and our colleagues at WHO and FAO as we work together to ensure safe food for all.
The World Health Organization, in collaboration with the Food and Agriculture Organization, reiterates on the fact that food safety is a shared responsibility between governments, producers, and consumers. Everyone is encouraged to play a positive role from farm to table, market to table, stores and shop to table, so as to ensure that food consumption is safe, free from contamination, as well as prevent health damages or hazards.
Bukengo Wadi ending that report. We now take you across the African continent, where Malian women are set to protest over discrimination in public appointments, and in Nigeria, where 8 persons have died following a truck explosion. These stories and more in the following report with staff lady Dolin Gondi.
Malian women have given notice of plans to stage protests this Friday against their alleged sidelining from political and governance affairs as the honeymoon of President Chakwera appears to be running out. In what seems to be an indictment for the president who came to power with great promise in June, the protesters under the umbrella group Women Manifesto Movement plan to stage administrative capital Lilongwe as well as in the commercial capital Blanche and Nzuzu. And sadly in Nigeria, 8 persons have died following a gas gas explosion early this morning in Ipaja, a suburb of Lagos, Nigeria. According to the Director General of the Lagos State Emergency Management, it occurred at about 6 a.m. this Thursday morning, leaving several homes and shops destroyed. Although the cause of the gas explosion has not yet been determined, it is worth noting that Lagos State recorded a similar event in Ajuwon, another suburb in the state, 2 weeks ago, when a tanker with gas fell into a gutter and exploded. Meanwhile, in Mali, the ex-Prime Minister Boubou Cisse and others have been released. The soldiers who took over power in Mali on August 18 before embarking on a transition supposed to bring civilians back to power announced on Wednesday the release of the 11 civilians and military personalities arrested during their coup. And on to sports, the world now has met its record breaker. Ugandan long-distance runner Joshua Cheptegei set the new records at the Turia Stadium in Valencia, Spain. The Ugandan star marathoner posted a 26.110 during the Valencia World Record Day, slashing 6 seconds off Bekele's record. The 24-year-old's success marked his 4th world record in under a year.
And to these sports report, the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon are bracing up ahead of Friday's international friendly game against the Samurai Blues of Japan. The game taking place in the Netherlands will be staged at 1 p.m. local time as sportsman Fabrice Kedinga tells